Gotta clear out the sinuses here. Craziness. Oh, man, my life is crazy, man. Oh, I can't handle this. I woke up with another nightmare today, realizing my beautiful wife and my beautiful mom are not here. It's a horrible feeling. It is not a good feeling. I'm trying to stay kind of relaxed, but it's hard to stay relaxed. You get very anxious, you get worked up because it's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible. I don't think I'm ever going to be the same. I don't think I'm ever going to be the same. I always could turn to my music. That's like my therapy. Hey, American Dream. What's up, brother? Hold on a second. Do a little morning blues, you know? Can't sleep? I know the feeling. Morning blues. It's hard to sleep American Dream when you're dealing with as much as, I'm dealing with and you're dealing with. I know you had your beautiful Itzy and you're laughing. I know you miss her. I know you miss your beautiful Itzy. I miss my wife. I miss my mom. People tried to bring me down all the time. Yeah, like Richie. They're like Richie, dude. Like you gotta man up, man. Man up. I don't even know what that means. They tell me that. I mean, I'm taking care of my kids. My kids go to school. They eat. I take care of them. They have fun every single day with their friends. They're enjoying spring break. They're happy. So how am I not manning up? But it's like, how am I supposed to not be devastated by all of this? How am I not supposed to be unbelievably shot? American Dream, I'm going to try to explain to you how I feel. All right. So for 27 years of my life, I have created, and I'm proud of it, a beautiful, beautiful life. And it wasn't that I just created this. My wife created it too. We were a team. My mom had a tough life with my father. She had a tough marriage. And she preferred mostly to live with me and Jennifer. That was just the way it worked out. And we got married in 2005. My mom's been pretty much living with us for like 20 years. I mean, okay, there was sometimes it was on and off where she went back to my father, even though they were technically divorced. But for the most part, she's been living with us, my mom, since we got married, since 2005. So, yeah, American Dream. Losing your wife is, there's no words. There's no words. Look, I speak to a lot of people, okay? And some people don't have good marriages. Some people don't have good marriages, okay? Some people say, Rich, you know, when my husband passed away, whatever it is, whatever, I was happy. I celebrated. Some people, look, my mom didn't have a good marriage with my father. Some people don't have good marriages. I had not a good marriage. I had the perfect, the perfect marriage. I had the perfect wife, the perfect mother. And that's what a lot of people have told me, American Dream. I've spoken to a lot of people. I spoke to someone the other day and he told me how he got involved with like drinking a lot, alcohol, and, you know, to get rid of the pain. That's not going to happen with me. I'm not going to, I'm not going to do that, you know, but, you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm doing great. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, you know, I'm not hurting, I'm not suffering. Look, I don't know what to tell you guys anymore. All I can tell you is this. I like things in life to make sense. I like things to make sense. That's all. If something makes sense, even if it hurts a lot, if it makes sense, I get it. The reason why what happened to my wife doesn't make sense to me is how rapidly, how quickly it happened, man. My wife was the best, man. Tell Cindy I said thank you. My wife had a great sense of humor. My wife supported me in everything I did, man. Good, bad, and the ugly. She supported me, and she knew me, and she always stood by my side. She stood by my side. That's the key. Look, man, I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do here, American Dream? Tell me. What do you think? I'm not my. You don't think 50% of me died with my wife? You don't think I'm like that movie Gladiator? You know, with Russell Crowe. I don't know if you ever saw that movie. You know, at the end of the movie Gladiator, how Russell Crowe, half of him was in the afterlife. You know, he was dying. I don't know if you saw that movie, and the other half of him was still on Earth. That's kind of how I feel right now. That's how I feel. Look, man, this is another thing I get from people a lot. I get this stuff where they say that there's these coping mechanisms and there's therapy and there's look. I've seen therapists already. I've been to a good amount of sessions. I've gone to like I got to these grief sessions, you know, where there was a lot of people that lost their loved ones there. A lot of them are senior citizens. That's the thing. It's not too often you see people young like me dealing with this stuff. Look, man, I don't want to talk about alcohol and drugs. That's kind of not the conversation I want to have. American Dream, with all due respect, man. I'm already facing a tremendous amount of pain, man. I don't need more. I don't. That's not the answer, man. You know, look, as far as God is concerned, look, how could God do something like this to me? I've loved God my whole life. I prayed to God my whole life. Okay? I've always said God is good. Okay, how could God take away my wife and my mom in 2 weeks? Listen, everybody keeps talking about God and Jesus, okay? So let's assume they're real. Okay, for let's assume it. I believe they are real. I believe that God and Jesus are real. Okay. Listen, why did they do this? And don't tell me, well, it's not their fault. Don't tell, oh, they didn't know anything about it. They had no idea. Of course they had an idea about it. Okay. I'm just saying, man, it's like, look, God should have said to himself, Richie, he's got 2 kids with Jennifer. Sophie is 11, Michael's 14. Jennifer needs to be here with him. Jennifer needs to raise them with Richie. Richie needs Jennifer. The kids need Jennifer. You know, yeah, the alcohol, the drug situation, I don't want to talk about that. Look, man, I'm not interested in going on alcohol. I'm not interested in going on antidepressants. That's not something I want to do. I, you know, that to me is a no-brainer, American Dream. That's going to cause you more trouble, more problems. I have enough problems. You know, they say, I have enough problems. I don't need more. Unfortunately, the trolls, you know, they don't have a human approach to life. They don't have a human approach. So what is a human approach? You have compassion, you have caring in your heart for other human beings going through tough times. Unfortunately, they don't have that. It's like there's the part of the brain, what's it called? The super ego, where there's that compassion, that sense of empathy, that sense of sympathy. These people don't have it. Everything to them is about their own entertainment. That's it. It's about their own entertainment. And anywhere that they can get that entertainment, they'll get it. Even if it's at the expense of someone's misery, even if it's at the expense of children's misery, like like my son and my daughter lost their mom, they lost their grandma. They don't care. These trolls, it makes no difference to them. Okay, it makes no difference to them. It's all about getting some form of a kick, a laugh, and that's it. And it's really crazy how people could be in this world. How heartless, how cold. It's scary, but that's just how they are, unfortunately, man. Listen, who knows if there are consequences? American Dream. I used to think the way you thought. I used to think that people in this world who do these types of disgusting acts like the trolls do, that there will be consequences, that God's watching and all this stuff. But it seemed like God is not punishing these trolls, right? They're alive, they're okay, they're doing well. My wife passed away, my mother passed away. I think of the song by Billy Joel, only the good die young. I mean, because you ask yourself a question, right? You're like, how come good people good people like my wife or my mother pass away. But then you look at people like these trolls, they're walking around, doesn't seem like nothing's going on with them, right? Yeah, I know you had a lot of troubles too, American Dream. God bless you, brother. I know you've had struggles. I know you've had struggles with alcohol, and I know, I remember. God bless you, brother. Paulino Garcia. Love you, man. Sorry your pain is here, and I know there are no answers that could help. You are the life for your kids. You are the beacon of strength. Thank you for talking to us. I love you too. I love you, American Dream. But American Dream, since you're on the channel, I wanted to talk to you about something. Um, when you lose your wife and your mom, you have to understand, brother. I know in the past that we were all like joking around with each other and we were all having fun, but I can't support on my channel, I just want you to understand, anyone making fun of anyone else's like wife or family, I just can't do it no more, man. I just can't. You know what I mean? It's like, look, I understand that at the end of the day, this is entertainment, and I understand First Amendment rights and all that stuff. And there's nothing legally wrong with making fun of someone's wife. There really isn't a. There's nothing legally like you could do it, but I don't want to do it personally. So I just wanted to just briefly mention that to you. Okay, I don't want to do it. So all everybody who comes on my channel, I just want them to understand that I do not support making fun of anyone's wife, even if we don't like these people, if we don't like, anyone, if let's say someone out there is someone we choose to, we want to break their chops, you understand? We say, okay, but not when it comes to wives. Wives and children are off limits. That's it. I don't want to do it, man. I just don't want to do it no more. All right, so the reason I'm bringing this up, I'm not going to mention names, I'm not going to do it, is that certain people come to my live streams and pretend to be other people. Okay, they pretend to be other people's wives. They do. Okay, I can't support that no more. I'm just letting people know I can't support that. I understand that you're having fun. I understand it's entertainment. I understand that you're just trying to get back at people who you might have feel have been unfair to me or unfair to you or whatever the case, but I can't support it. So I just wanted to let anybody know. If people do that and they come here and they imitate other people's wives, I will be blocking them, okay? I have to block them. It's nothing personal. It's just unfortunate. Look, I could support anything. I could support all types of fun. I could support all types of entertainment, but I can't support someone pretending to be someone's wife. I can't do it no more. You know why? Because I just lost my wife. I just lost my wife. I just lost my mom. How in good conscience, if I'm sitting here on my live stream talking about how all these trolls are terrible to me, terrible to my wife, terrible to my family, what they're doing, right? But then in a way, I'm no different than them, right? I would be no different than them if I'm supporting people coming to the channel pretending to be other people's wives. I can't do it no more. But with that said, that doesn't mean that we can't have fun. That doesn't mean we can't. You understand what I'm saying, American Dream? We can still have fun. We could still do things that are, you know, funny and entertaining. But it just shouldn't include other people's wives. It shouldn't include children. That's all I'm saying. Now, I can't stop the trolls. I can't stop them. They're gonna do whatever they want to do. Okay? But I'm not gonna participate. Yeah, my wife passed away after a 10-year battle with cancer. She also had aspiration pneumonia. She was only 46 years old. My mother, Josephine, was 75. She also had pneumonia. She passed away 2 weeks later. COPD. She had a triple bypass. It was mostly respiratory related. Thank you, Love Light. God bless you, Love Light. I'll make a video for you a little later on, all right, brother? It's just a little early. It's around 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to make the thank you video for you. I love you, Love Light. You always support us. Thank you, Love Light. If someone could actually type in my Cash App, I'd like to pin the comment. It's the $ Richard Lavoy. If you don't know, that's my Cash App. Thank you, Love Light. It's the $ capital RICHARD, capital LEVOI. No space, no underscore in between my first and my last name. That's the Cash App. If someone could type that out, I'd appreciate it. $ Richard Lavoy. $, you know how to spell Richard, right? $RICHARD, capital LEVOI. Someone could type out the Cash App for me. I'd appreciate it so I could pin the comment. Maybe if you could do it for me, American Dream or Love Light. Man. If anybody could type that out for me, I'd appreciate it. The Cash App is the $ Richard Lavoy, capital RICHARD, capital LEVOI. Whenever you get the chance. So I'll just continue with the live stream. You know, I'm angry at so many things. I don't know. I'm angry at God to a certain degree. A love light that's close, but you can't do two things, brother. You can't have, see how you have the space. Uh, well, you forgot the I at the end, Lavoy. There's an I at the end, but the thing is, you got to put them together, and can you make it a capital L? So everything is the same, no space, and a capital L, and then put an I at the end. So in other words, it's capital LEVOI. So capital L as in Larry. That's it, American Dream. Thank you. Love from Bangladesh. Thank you. Yes, love light. I got you. Thank you both, American Dream and Love Light. Thank you. I'm trying to just um, I don't know. Sometimes my heart goes out to my wife. You know what it was? She's been fighting for 10 years, my wife. She was getting tired, I think. She was fighting for 10 years, the poor girl. The poor girl. You want to know what it is? I guess I'm selfish. Please forgive me. Yeah, happy Easter, brother. I'm selfish. It's like a part of me understands that my wife was tired, you know? She was tired, man. She didn't want to go through this anymore, I think. She was getting tired. She was tired of all the treatments. She was tired. I understand. But at the same time, I'm selfish because I didn't want to lose her. It's like a terrible thing, you know? I didn't want to lose the girl. He has 2 kids, 11 years old and 14, Michael and Sophia. It's like, how can I explain this to all of you? It's like when you love someone so much, the way I loved my wife, Jennifer, you're like, do anything. Stay with us, Jen. Whatever treatment you got to do, just do it. Do it. Stay with us. She was getting tired. I get it, man. I understand. All that toxic stuff, man. You know what? That stuff in you, all that stuff. Radiation, chemotherapy, it's all toxic. Surgeries are the worst. I'm not an advocate of surgeries. Look, it's not medical advice, but I feel surgeries, in my opinion, just made everything worse. Again, this is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor, but my wife shouldn't even have gotten any surgeries. I told her, I was like, when she first had the cancer diagnosed, the cancer was contained in her breast. It's called DCIS. I told her, just leave it alone. That's what I told her. I said, just leave it alone. Once they did the surgery, it turned to stage 4. It spread. It's like they opened up the doorway for the cancer to spread. The cancer was trapped in her breast. It was contained. I told her, I said, don't get this, don't get the surgery. You know, this whole thing is this is a tragedy, man. The whole thing is just sad. From the beginning to the end. My wife worked during the 9/11 attacks. Two World Trade Center, and she didn't have the cancer gene. My wife didn't have the cancer gene. She got this all because of the toxins in the air. A lot of families suffered because of 9/11. We'll never forget 9/11. God bless every family that was affected. But see, that's another thing I have to question myself about God. It's like, did he not know that that was going to happen with the World Trade Center? Did he not know? He had to know, right? I just, you get people who say, yeah, it was the toxins in the air, man. It was all the toxins, man. The air wasn't good. The air quality was not good. And she went back there. It wasn't just that day. She went back there every day for like years. She worked in Lower Manhattan in the Wall Street area. But God, you telling me God didn't know that 9/11 was going to happen? I don't know. You think about all these things that happened in history, even the Holocaust, all these very terrible things. You know, Hitler, Nazi Germany. God didn't know that this was going to happen. It almost seems like God doesn't get involved in human affairs, right? But then people will say that it's God's will that things happen. Or people will say, you're in God's hands now. Like if you're facing, the possibility of dying, passing away. That's what everybody says. It says, Richard, it's not the doctors anymore, Richard. She's in God's hands. And if she passes away, it's God's will. But then this is the thing. But then they'll say, but God doesn't get involved in human affairs. You can't. There's something that doesn't make sense to me. Because if God doesn't get involved in human affairs, then how is it God's will if someone passes away, right? But then they'll say, if someone survives, they'll say God saved them. I get that a lot. God saved me. You talk about like alcohol and stuff. A lot of people who are alcoholics, they were like, I was at the end, Rich, they told me. I found God. God came into my life. I stopped drinking, God came into my life. I stopped drugs. God came into my life. Thank you, A&R DJ. So here's the thing I don't understand. So is it that God is selective? Does he just pick certain people he wants to help? And then other people he just ignores them? It doesn't make any sense to me. So it's either God is selective, I'm just trying to make sense out of it, or he's not involved, or he is involved. So which one do you want to go with? He is involved? Okay. Thank you, American Dream. I just don't understand, like, why. Like, I look outside, the sun is rising, the morning is starting, and normally I'd be very happy, American Dream, when I see the sun come out, you know, and the sun rises. I don't feel happy anymore when the sun rises. I don't feel happy about anything anymore. Everything depresses me. It's crazy, right? It's like even the sun coming out depresses me because I know it's the beginning of a new day of stress. It's the beginning of a new day of me facing pain. Lately, I've been sleeping a little better. Not much. I used to only sleep about an hour, 2 hours a day. I think I've been sleeping about 3 or 4 hours a day. Like now it's been at least going up to about 4 hours, and I feel peace in those 4 hours. I feel peace. Um, so I'm starting to kind of it changed now. In the very beginning, I didn't sleep at all, but now sleeping is becoming a form of peace. I've noticed that I slept. I'm still very tired because I jump up with nightmares, but I've noticed that I've been getting a little bit more sleep now. I didn't want to live without my wife and my mom. But look, my mom, I'll tell you this. She was 75, all right? Look, how do I say this? Because people always misunderstand me. I love my mother more than anything in this world. My mother was my best friend. You understand that? She was my best friend. My mother was always here for me. I love my mother. I miss her every second. I miss her every second. But she was 75. She saw me grow up. She saw the grandkids grow up. I kind of understand, you know? We all have to at some point lose our parents. It's very sad. At some point, we have to lose our parents. Thank you, American Dream. You're one of the purest individuals that have a heart on YouTube as well. God bless you, American Dream. But I don't understand what happened to my wife. I guess I can understand. Look, if my wife was still alive and my mom passed away, it would be very hurtful for me. I would be very, very super, super sad. I would be going through great grief, which I'm going through right now for both my wife and my mom. But I think I would have been okay because I would have had my wife with me. My wife would have gave me the strength. She would have. She would have gave me the strength. My wife would have said, "Okay, I'm here for you, honey. We're gonna get through this. I know you're hurting over your mom, but we're gonna get through this." But without my wife or my mom, it's too much. It's too devastating. It's too devastating. And you're telling me God didn't know this? You're telling me that God, like, it slipped his mind? I know, American Dream, listen to me. So with that comment that you just said, right, that my wife was my life's partner, she's gone, American Dream. So where does that leave me? Tell me, brother. I have a question for you now. Now that we both agree that she was my life's partner, where does that leave me, American Dream? That she's gone. Where does that leave me? What do I do, brother? I'm asking you. Because you're right in what you're saying. She was my partner. What do I do now? Now, normally this is where people will say therapy or antidepressives or alcohol or right. Like what? So what do I do, brother? What do I do? Tell me. I'm asking people's opinions. How could I handle this? And by the way, I'm not taking antidepressives. I'm not taking any type of drugs or alcohol. It's not going to happen. Yeah, so I want to be clear. That will not happen to me. I notice there's no answers, right? That people will also say to me, you got to stay strong for your kids, Rich. I'm like, I know. I know I got to be there for my kids. I am there for my kids. My kids go to school. They come home. I feed them. I take care of them. I clean the clothes. I do everything for them. I take them out. They have fun. They go to the arcades, movies. They see their friends, play volleyball. Sophia had the beautiful play. I am there for my kids. I can't say that when people say that to me. They're like, you have to be there for your kids. I'm like, yeah, I know. Now we all start over and we feel pain. but in time the pain won't be as bad. I keep myself busy and distracted. It helps a little bit. I still cry and hurt for my loss, but not every day. Carlos, you remember her and the love, and you keep on living, my friend. My, hold on a second. My grandmother always used to tell me that life was for the living and to keep on living. Finally, in the last couple of months, American Dream, I realized that my loss family wasn't in pain anymore. It didn't hurt all the time. I didn't want her to leave, but I couldn't put her down either. I understand what you said when you said you felt selfish to let her go. Um, all right, so let me touch on some of that stuff there. One thing that life is for the living. I get that a lot. Your grandmother's right and she's wrong. All right, don't get mad. Okay. Because I'll tell you the reason why. I believe in the impact of life. All right, don't get mad. Listen, I'm not trying to. I love you. Your grandmother's your grandmother. I know you love her, and I appreciate you sharing what you said. But realize that we do have the right to have different opinions. Okay. So what happens is when you're alive, the impact that you've had on people's lives have been so like I'm trying to think of the word like it's I'm just searching for the words. It's just the impact that you had has made such a lasting love and a lasting dependency. Like you need that person in your life. You know, you're dependent on that person. In other words, they're like American Dream. They're your partner. They're they're your life's partner. They're the mother of your children. They're everything. So when you say life is for the living, so what about what about all the time that she spent on Earth being there for her children, being there for her husband? So now do we just say forget about that because she's not alive anymore? Do you see what I'm trying to say? Do we just forget it? Do we say okay, life is only for the living? Let's not focus on anyone who passes away. See, that's kind of why I did not lose my kids. My kids are here. I gotta get rid of you for that comment, even if it was a mistake, man. My kids are healthy. Okay, terrible people, man. Ugh. Carlos, God bless you, Carlos. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about your loss. God bless you and God bless your partner. COVID was terrible, man. I'm so sorry, man. My condolences. God bless you and your family and your partner. Now, I know what you say, remember with love, but it's more than that to me. Yeah, I understand that, but you can't make a mistake like that. I'm sorry, man. You can't make a mistake like that. You just can't do it. You can't. You gotta think before you speak, and you gotta make sure that before you make a comment that's so severe, And I don't believe that. I believe that that was done intentionally. I believe this is all part of hate. This is the haters. These are the internet trolls. They don't make mistakes. These internet trolls do things on purpose. They're intentionally trying to hurt me. They're intentionally trying to hurt my family. Believe me, there's no mistakes. There's no mistakes with those internet trolls. Everything they do it on purpose. This is all part of their disgusting, despicable ways of trying to hurt me and trying to get me even more down than I am. So Star Platinum, you're wrong. You're wrong. It wasn't a mistake that was corrected. It was an intentional thing. Okay? That's what these people do. 12 years together. God bless you, Carlos, and your partner. Me and my wife, we're together 27 years. Our 20th anniversary just passed, April 9th. God bless your partner, Carlos. Um, yeah, these people come here, these haters, and these internet trolls, and it is their mission, unfortunately, to try to break me. That's what they're doing. You want me to just tell you, like, the bottom line here is that they're sick. These are sick, twisted people, man. These are sick, twisted people. You got to be happy, Carlos. God bless you. I hope you that happiness comes back into your life. But these are sick people, and these people are coming here trying to capitalize on my pain, on my children's pain. It really is crazy what they do. So there's no mistakes. Just remember that with internet trolls, it is part of a plan to come here to try to break me, to try to get me upset, to try to hurt me. The thing is, I'm used to it now, so they don't bother me. Believe me, they don't bother me. What? Let me be clear. What bothers me is that I lost my wife and my mom. That bothers me. Internet trolls don't bother me. They're just a bunch of peons that they should all go to some island and stay there. We should just transport them, and then the island's not enough. We should transport them to another planet, in my opinion. These internet trolls, they're horrible human beings, man. But thank you, Carlos. Um, so touching back on what you were saying, remember with love. It's a beautiful comment what you're saying. But what if you can't live without that person, Carlos? And I'm being serious. Like, what if you can't? What if, you hear all these like love songs, like Michael Bolton, you know, tell me, how am I supposed to live without you? Right? Song. All these love songs. That's a good question. How am I supposed to live without you? How are you supposed to live without a person that was your everything? That was the air you breathe. That was the meaning for you to wake up every day, your inspiration to live, your inspiration to go out there in the world and inspire to be great for your family, for your wife, for your children. Now, you might say, well, you still have your children, right? You got to aspire to be great for them. Again, I love my kids. What about my wife? She was healthy this whole time, guys. Guys, if you looked at my wife a couple of months ago, she was fine. She was at our daughter's birthday party, January 7th, singing happy birthday to our daughter Sophia. So that's another thing that my brain can't comprehend is how quickly all of this happened. How does a person go from being, completely normal to what she went through, which was a lot of bad things. Aspiration pneumonia, which I don't want to get into. But it just seems weird to me how this could happen so quickly. And I know if you're talking to a doctor, you're like, well, that's what the doctors will say. They say sometimes these things can progress very quickly. Something can happen quick. I understand that. But it's just hard for me to like, it's like, imagine you're looking at a person and they look completely like healthy and completely normal. And then just like a few days later, they completely change where they can't move, they can't eat, they can't swallow liquid, they're on a ventilator. Like, how does stuff like that happen in just a few days? I can't answer the question, Carlos. I can't answer the question. That's why then it becomes a question that you have to ask God, I think. Because sometimes this all feels to me, see, Carlos, you're not understanding what I'm saying, brother. Listen to me, listen to me. You're not getting it. I get listen, all the things you're saying are beautiful. I will always cherish my wife. I will always remember her. I will remember her with love. And my children will remember her with love. And we will cherish her forever. We all get that. But let me tell you, there's where you're not getting it. When something is not fair, Carlos, I can't accept it. You understand? My wife was only 46 years old. We have two children here. Sophia, who's 11, Michael, who's 14. They need their mom. Okay. So when something is not fair, you got to go to like the manufacturer. Like, think about this, right? You got to go straight to the source. Who's the manufacturer? God. God's the manufacturer. Listen, Carlos, I'm not saying to you I'm not going to eventually move past this and be strong for my kids and find a way you know, to live. But that still doesn't take away the fact that this whole thing wasn't fair. Okay? That still doesn't take away the fact that my entire life, in a way, my children's life, we were robbed. We were robbed when we lost my wife, Jennifer. Now, again, my mom, very sad situation. She was very young. She should have went on to live into her 90s, my mom. Very sad situation. But she saw me grow up. She saw the grandkids grow up. For those reasons, I'm not. I'm like, I'm hurt over my mom, but I'm a little bit more in acceptance because I said to myself, she saw her grandkids grow up. Jennifer was 46, too young. I'm never gonna heal. Okay, can we be straight with each other? Can we be straight with each other? I'm never going to heal from something that's unfair. I'm never going to heal. That doesn't mean I won't find a way to cope with it. That doesn't mean I won't find a way to, move on with my life and to find some form of peace, okay? And to be there for my kids. I didn't say that, okay? But I will never ever be able to just forget something when it's not fair. Like, all right, let me give you an example. We're going to take something random, okay? And I'm going to give you like an example. No, but let me just try. I'm just gonna try to make you understand something, okay? I'm trying to give you like an example. Imagine like you're on a boat, okay? Unfortunately, water starts getting into the boat starts to sink, okay? And let's just say, I'm not gonna get into it, but let's just say you're with John Doe. No, but just hear me out. Let's say you and John Doe were on this boat. It does. I don't want to. You could figure out who John Doe is. John Doe is a loved one. Okay, I don't want to say it could be your partner, it could be your whatever, your family, your best friend. You and John Doe are on a boat. Okay, I'm giving you an analogy, and I want you to understand this. The boat sinks, unfortunately. Now you're in the ocean. So you and John Doe are in the ocean. Sharks start to come all around you. There's sharks everywhere. Okay. Now another boat sees you in the nick of time. They throw a rope. You grab that rope and you're able to pull yourself onto the boat and you survive. Then that same rope, they throw it to John Doe. As he's pulling the rope rips. The same rope that saved you rips. And now he's left into the ocean. The sharks get him. You know what that's called? Unfair. It's called not being fair. Okay. So now you might be able to eventually move on from that, right? You might be able to say, okay, after many, many years of, you learn to cope with it, you learn to live with it. But there's one thing you can't do, right? You can't say it was fair. That's the one thing you can't do, right? You can't say he had a fair life. He had a good life. He had a fair. No, he didn't. That was not fair. What happened to him? That's how I feel about what happened to my wife, Jennifer. I don't feel that she had a fair life. I don't feel that, you know, the girl was hit too much in her life, this poor girl. Too much cancer in 2015, became stage 4 in 2017. Then she had to get the radiation in the brain in 2020. She had to get brain surgery in 2024. And then the beginning of 2025, she gets it's not even the cancer. She gets aspiration pneumonia, where she can't eat, she can't swallow anything. The poor girl didn't stand a chance. It's like this is a girl who wanted to fight to the last breath. You understand? She did. She fought and fought and fought and fought and fought for her family. I don't know. I don't want to get into too much on it right now because there's a lot of things that are bothering me about what even doctors did, and but it all comes down to God, I think, in the end. You want me to tell you the truth? All the everything stops with God. I think that God is the decision maker. I think that like he calls the shots, and I'm just saying for some reason he wanted her this soon. He wanted my wife at 46. I love you, American Dream. It's just that it wasn't fair. That's all I'm gonna say to you, okay, brother? It wasn't fair what happened to my wife. That's all. Okay, it doesn't mean I won't find a way to cope with it. It doesn't mean I won't be strong for my kids. It just wasn't fair. If you came to me 10 years from now, after I coped with this for 10 years, and you said, Richard, you know, are you better? Do you feel better with the passing of your wife? I would probably say this exact thing to you 10 years from now. I'll probably say, it was not fair what happened to my wife. I've learned to cope. I've learned to live with it. I think of her every day. I cherish her memory. I cherish her forever. So you see what I'm saying? It's never gonna go away. The fact that I don't feel it was fair what happened. But with that said, I'll be back in a little bit. Just gonna try to relax a little. God bless all of you. God bless your families. God bless all of you who have lost a loved one. My heart is for you and your family. I wish you all the best of everything. I'm so sorry you had to go through any hurts in your life. And remember, anyone who would like to do a small cash app to help our family, you see it. The comment is pinned on this page below. It's the $ Richard Lavoie. If you look at the bottom of the screen, love light, love, LV_light, you'll see that my cash app is right next to him. Her, excuse me. Tony Marie, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Beautiful Tony Marie. And it's the $ Richard Lavoie. It's the $ capital RICHARD capital LEVOI. No space, no underscore in between my first and my last name. Again, the cash app is the $ Richard Lavoie, capital RICHARD capital LEVOI. Please help us, help my children. Michael's only 14, Sophia's only 11. I will do a beautiful service for you. Anyone who does the Cash App, I'm going to record a video. I'm going to upload it on my YouTube channel. It's called the Thank You Song. I play the piano. I play a beautiful jazz, blues, piano piece to celebrate your good deed and to celebrate the beautiful life that my wife and my mother lived. So consider in your heart, please, to do a small cash out. Again, the comment is pinned below, LV_light. You'll see it to the right hand side. That's my cash app. The $ Richard Lavoie. That's the cash app. $ capital RICHARD, capital LEV as in Victor OI. No space, no underscore in between my first and my last name. Thank you. God bless all of you. I will be back.